Have you ever been mid-sentence, searching for that perfect word? You know it. You can almost feel it, taste it, but it just hovers tantalizingly out of reach, right there on the tip of your tongue. That frustrating mental dance, where the word plays hide and seek with your memory, can be unsettling, can it? Especially as we journey into our 60s and beyond. You might even have a fleeting worry. Is this a sign of something more? Is my memory failing me? Well, if this experience sounds familiar, please know you are in incredibly good company. The tip of the tongue phenomenon, as is known, is remarkably common, particularly as we accumulate more life experience. And the good news? It's very often not an indicator of serious cognitive decline. In this video, we're uncovering 5 surprising and often reassuring reasons why this tip of the tongue feeling happens more frequently as we age. We'll explore the fascinating ways our brains work, how they change, and why these momentary memory blanks are usually a very normal part of how our amazing brains adapt and evolve. By understanding these deeper processes, you can trade worry for wisdom and frustration for a renewed appreciation of your mind. So if you've ever felt that flicker of panic when a word temporarily escapes you, stay with us. What you learned today might just bring you a great deal of peace of mind. Let's delve into these 5 surprising reasons. Reason number 1, subtle shifts in neural pathways and retrieval speed. Think of your brain as an incredibly vast library filled with words, facts, and memories. When you want to retrieve a specific word, your brain activates a network of neural pathways to locate it. As we age, these pathways, while still robust, might undergo subtle changes. The connections might not be quite as rapid-fire as they once were, or the search and retrieve mechanism might take a slightly more scenic route. It's not that the word is gone from your library, it's almost always still there. It's more about the efficiency of the access. The signal strength to pinpoint and pull out that specific word might be a little less direct, leading to that feeling of it being just out of grasp. This is a very normal aspect of brain aging, a gentle slowing in processing speed, not a loss of the information itself. Imagine Arthur, who's 68. He was recently telling a story about a classic movie, and for the life of him, couldn't recall the lead actor's name. He knew it, could even picture the actor's face, but the name just wouldn't come. Later that day, completely unbidden, the name popped into his head. This isn't a memory failure, it's a retrieval delay, a common experience reflecting these subtle pathway shifts. Understanding this helped Arthur feel less anxious when it happens. Reason number 2, the problem of a larger vocabulary and more information. Now, this reason might surprise you because it stems from a strength. Over a lifetime, you've accumulated an enormous vocabulary and a vast storehouse of knowledge and experiences. This is an incredible asset. However, when you're searching for a specific word, especially one that isn't used every day, your brain is sifting through a much larger database than it did when you were younger. With more words, there's also more potential for interference from similar-sounding words or words with related meanings. So ironically, having a richer mental lexicon can sometimes make the immediate retrieval of one specific, less common item a bit more complex. Your brain is doing a more extensive search in a very crowded library. Reason number 3, the impact of mental fatigue and divided attention. Our brains, like any hardworking organ, experience fatigue. If you're tired, haven't slept well, or if your mind is juggling multiple tasks and distractions, what we call divided attention, your cognitive resources are stretched thin. Word finding is an active cognitive process that requires focused attention and energy. When those resources are depleted or scattered, the brain's ability to efficiently search and retrieve information, including words, naturally diminishes. That tip of the tongue moment might simply be your brain signaling that it's a bit overloaded or needs a rest. It's not necessarily age-specific, but life after 60 can sometimes bring unique stressors or sleep pattern changes that contribute to this mental fatigue. If these insights are resonating with you and you're still watching, I'd love to know. Please type the word AWARE in the comments below. It's a small way to connect and lets me know this information is valuable. And if you haven't yet, do consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell. We explore many topics like this to help us all navigate aging with greater understanding and confidence. Now for our fourth reason. Reason number 4, the influence of stress and momentary anxiety. Stress and anxiety are notorious for meddling with our cognitive functions, and memory retrieval is no exception. When you're feeling stressed or even just a little anxious about, say, not being able to recall a word in a social situation, your body releases stress hormones like cortisol. These can temporarily interfere with the brain circuits involved in memory access. In fact, the very act of trying too hard to remember a word, especially if you're feeling pressured or embarrassed, can create a mental block. It's like the word goes into hiding because of the performance anxiety. Reducing that pressure, taking a breath, and diverting your attention for a moment can often, surprisingly, allow the word to surface on its own. Consider Eleanor, 72, who sometimes experiences TOT moments when she's in a group and feels the spotlight is on her to contribute. She noticed that if she simply says, "Oh," the word will come to me, and relaxes, it often does. She realized that her own anxiety about the lapse was making it worse. This awareness was key. Reason number 5, less frequent use of certain words or names. Our brains are wonderfully efficient. Neural pathways for information we use regularly stay strong and quick. However, for words, names, or facts that we don't access frequently, those pathways can become a little less well-trodden, a bit like a garden path that sees fewer visitors. As our lifestyles change, perhaps in retirement or as our social circles evolve, we might use certain parts of our vocabulary less often. That beloved author you haven't read in years, the name of a colleague from a job you left a decade ago, the technical term from a hobby you no longer pursue. These words are still stored, but the retrieval route might need a little more clearing because it's been a while. It's a natural consequence of changing focus and experience, not a sign of memory decay. So there we have 5 surprising yet very human reasons for those occasional tip-of-the-tongue experiences after 60. It's the subtle dance of our brain's wiring, the richness of our accumulated knowledge, the ebb and flow of our mental energy, the impact of our emotions, and the natural evolution of our daily vocabulary. Understanding these factors can be incredibly reassuring. It helps us see these moments not as failures, but as normal neurological occurrences, signals from a brain that has lived, learned, and continues to adapt. This knowledge can reduce worry, allowing us to be more patient and compassionate with ourselves. When that word temporarily eludes you, take a breath. It's usually not lost, just taking a brief detour. And very often it will find its way back to you, right when you least expect it. Thank you for joining me in exploring this common experience. I hope this understanding brings you a sense of peace and a deeper appreciation for the incredible, ever-changing wonder that is your mind.